eligible for this program, we would have to include language to allow that. And I don't know if you want that or not. That's one of the feedback.
They might be the ones with the least amount of accrued leave,
Yeah.
the biggest need, and the ones with long-term real illnesses.
Yeah.
And probably not signing up for short-term disability as well.
Yeah.
Their first year.
Any other feedback on that one? Or do you want to think about it and let me know? How do you want to proceed?
I'm not sure this policy's ready for, I don't know, for approval next meeting. I think
Okay.
we need to work through it and
What
make sure the policy's clear.
Okay. Well, what I could do is I could remove it from the HR manual that would be brought forward to the board on the 16th, and we could keep it at JP&L until you feel it's ready, and then we can move it to the board when you feel it's ready. If you would like
I
to
think we should
move in that manner. Okay.
To clarify.
Okay, so what I would just need to know then, we'll focus on the other parts for the HR manual for the full board, but if there's other things you want me to zone in and clarify, just feel free to let me know between now and the next meeting.
Okay.
Is that okay? Okay. Last is very brief, because we've already talked about the new pay ranges. We've adjusted those based on COLA, and then the changes based on the living wage discussion. So all those are reflective of our previous conversations. Any other general questions? Otherwise, that was it for my presentation.
I just saw one little typo thing for you.
Okay.
Do you wanna add a line on the sick leave sharing request form for the village manager or library director to approve? Just has the employee signature and date received and received by.
Okay. Trustee Carpenter, you want to give me that?
Yeah, it's on page 13, it's just for general class employees are not, I think you understand that. Or general class employees, you just get rid of the four, either way. It's just.
Oh, get rid of the
Yeah.
four. Got it. Yeah. Thank you. I'll get rid of it. Okay. Anything else?
I'm willing to, if you want to meet or something, or I can
Okay.
try to pull together my idea, thoughts or comments. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if the committee's comfortable, I'd be happy to meet with Trustee Maher between this and the next meeting, and just I could put together another draft based on your revisions, and I could show the two different versions for you to compare. Whatever.
I mean, you have a lot more
The three of you are
experience
comfortable
with this
Yeah.
than I do. I feel comfortable with your
Yeah.
modifications and seeing that. Do you?
Are we comfortable with the whole prince, like sick leave, and annual, or people giving sick leave and the whole?
I mean, I'm comfortable with the concept of it,
Right.
but I do think that there needs to maybe be some slight modifications in the process of how it's done. I mean, I think that it's a community builder, and this is something that can be good for an organization. That
Right.
there's, especially in a real crisis or catastrophe in someone's life.
Right.
So in that way, I'm fine. But I also do think we need to protect the organization, as well.
Right.
So I'm open to your kind of procedural thoughts.
But I mean, the leave we've already given the leave, so it's, if one person takes it or another person takes it, it's already a liability that's out there, so I'm not sure. The only, is there, and if leave is paid out when someone retires anyhow, which vacation is, right?
Vacation.
When you retire or leave, you get paid your vacation, correct?
Vacation in full. Yeah.
And sick
And
leave
then sick
depends
leave-
when you were,
Correct.
right,
Right.
so, I mean,
But going forward,
going forward, you don't get paid
sick
out.
leave really is not, it's an asset of the organization. You aren't eligible really if you meet the criteria for use of it. FMLA, if you're sick,
So you're saying people could build up a big balance and never use it because they're not sick and they're not gonna
Right,
get
the
paid
other
out, so
thing,
they
people
might-
don't use it and then it comes back to the organization and then we can use it to give other benefits there. But if people are giving it out, people are, you're gonna, before you arrived is, in the past, if we have like a police officer out for 6 months on medical leave
Yeah,
and they're on unpaid, that frees up money in the police budget that then can be used to pay for overtime or to hire temps and DP, and in the department can be used to buy, where if people are donating leave that may just go away when they retire, it's additional cost to the where annual leave is an asset of the employee, really, somewhat, Well, we can work on the
I'm okay
procedural
with
stuff
that,
and
as
then
long
we
as the
can
committee
come
is-
back
yeah.
to the,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think the only thing I would need is some kind of vote, so
To
we make
approve
sure
the
we
rest
get
of it,
that to the
yeah.
board, so if one of the three of you would wanna entertain a motion to consider the HR manual with the exception of the sick leave sharing program, which would come back at
I
a
would make
future
that
JPL
motion. I would
meeting.
make that motion.
1 second.
Then you need a recorded vote, right?
Are all those in favor?
yeah.
Aye.
Aye.
Great.
Great.
We'll move that forward to the village board minus the sick leave sharing program then.
Great.
And then I just need a motion to adjourn. The
Move to
GP.
adjourn.
Second.
And I'll call budget and finance together.
Thanks, Rick.
I'm not sure, so we have 45 minutes. Would people rather spend more time on the fiscal notes? Or I don't know if there was a lot of third quarter questions, so I'll leave it up to the committee. What do you think?
Good questions, but,
one question I had was, looking at salaries, I have to get back to that page, what page is it on, 117? Like, I just talked to the chief, I sent him an email asking about that, if we have, when we were gonna be able to provide a school resource officer. And he sent me, and he said, well, I have this guy out on military leave, and he's coming back, and I'm hiring another person. And so he made it sound like he was down, were we paying the entire salary for the guy on military leave?
No.
So he made it sound like I was down all 2019, but I'm gonna be back, I'll be up an entire position 2020, but when you look at the numbers, like, they look pretty much the same except for the increase. And the same with public works, I mean, the increase from 19 to 20 is like, about the amount of the salary increase, so I'm not,
On
I
the
think
third
this-
quarter financial report? Is that correct?
yeah,
I know Allison was asking where were the vacancies, and I'm not really seeing them.
Well, we built in a half a position. It was built into the 1,963,525 base salary budget
For what department?
for the police.
What page are you
So
on?
it's page 16 of the third quarter financial report.
Wow, that's
16,
help us, it's
okay.
page
So they should be
126.
numbered within the,
yeah.
Oh, yeah,
there's
okay.
some corners.
Sorry, that's in the packet.
1963525.
So that is short a half a position there. And again, we're making projections. Fourth quarter will prove what the final numbers are, but they were down significant staffing throughout the year. They may come in underneath that amount, the 1,950,000. But we're expecting that officer to return fairly early in the year in 2020.
But I mean, so our salaries for 2020 are $2,022,000. So that's not an entire position, you know. So so there was is there still a vacancy in the police budget of half a position?
That's correct.
Yeah, is there a vacant position right now? Are we counting on vacancies?
He is, authorized to fill the current vacant position,
Okay.
and that'll be forthcoming, you know, when that process is concluded.
Okay.
I think the board took that action either 2 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago.
And this guy's coming back from, I mean, was the military leave guy budgeted at his full salary?
Yes.
But we weren't paying his full salary.
Right, we didn't know that he was leaving until into the year. And he doesn't get back until, I wanna say, February of 2020.
When did he leave?
Apologize, my year is sliding together. I don't remember the exact month, but I felt like,
Fairly early in the year
yeah,
of 2019. So, and again, you know, that 1.950, the projected number, is, you know, it's not hard, you know, trigonometry or anything like that, it's just a general projection. It'll be under budget. You know, this was prepared several weeks ago.
Well, I mean, his staffing hasn't
You
changed
know, and
between
when
now
we-
and then.
True.
Yeah, and then on public works, kind of the same, like, they're up, their total expenditures are higher than budgeted by 55,000. And,
Well,
total public page 117 of the third quarter, oh, yeah, page 117.
well, a fair portion of that was when reviewing the overall public works segment, you know, we have to look at the aggregate public works divisions, which include the general fund, water, and sewer salaries. I know the 2019 budget presumed more emphasis, particularly in the water division, than actually occurred for various reasons. And then we also had a discussion during the 2020 budget cycle that it's kind of a one-way job share, if you will, within that subset of groups, employee groups for the utilities, that they will assist in the general fund, but the general fund will not assist in the utility divisions. They don't have the right training for that. So, from a practical sense, the 2019 budget overcommitted in the utility sector. That's been corrected in the 2020 budget based on our conversations with the public works director.
But I mean the projected budget for 19, like for forestry, is budgeted at 193 and it's coming in at 226. I mean, the total, this is page 25, so the budget was 2,733,000 and we're projecting to come in like 55 more than that at 2,788.
Look, again, if you might recall, the board decided to add an additional vacancy factor into the budget during budget hearings.
Right.
Due to a vacant position at the time,
Mm-hmm.
that was deemed to be the most logical of places to account for that within the budget.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we have had several vacancies in the DPW department at the time. The underlying formulas that drive the segmentation of the salaries between divisions based on 3-year trends, so on and so forth, were already in place, and then we subtracted out an additional $40,000 out of the forestry department. So again, that the alignment of those sub-departments within the public works is again, an approximation depending on the actual time spent working by staff on hand.
But, so you're saying the general fund is higher because less time went to the utilities than was originally, so you're saying the forestry guys will also do time? You were budgeting that forestry would do time on utilities and that didn't happen and they stayed in forestry, and that's why forestry is higher than budgeted?
We have a pool of employees of, I think the pooled employees are 14 generalists.
Right,
So that's all lumped together to get a total salary and benefit amounts for that pool of employees. That pool then gets, the grand totals get allocated between water, sewer, and general fund. If more of that pool is allocated to the water utility than proved to be applicable for 2019, then all the other numbers in the general fund side, you know, if we took an extra 3% of that big number into the water utility, that's 3% less of that big number that's in the
but we
general
have the
fund.
opposite, we have the general fund higher than
Right,
budgeted.
so that didn't prove to be accurate, so then that, and I'm just illustratively speaking, that 3% that we thought were gonna work in the water, actually worked in the general fund. And that's why the general fund numbers are in aggregate a little higher than the budget, but you'll see that the water utility will be lower because it's a fixed employee pool of wages that we budget for.
But I guess the question is if we're using a vacancy factor and, you know, we have to, how do we budgeted a vacancy factor, but